Hey neighbor, I have been growing my own salads here recently, and I don't know why I haven't been doing more of this. In the past, I have grown lettuces for trials and sporadically grown them, but I've been on a schedule to make sure that I have fresh lettuce available anytime because I'm trying to eat better. But you know what? I'm one of them kind of people that just love salads, so it works out extremely well for us here. There's just two of us at home, so it doesn't take a lot of food here. And to be able to grow my own lettuce and to come up here and harvest it anytime I want to, and it's just been amazing. Now I've got some work to do. I've got to come up with a better schedule to make sure that I've got this all the time and understand that I'm gonna have salad 2 to 3, maybe even 4 times per week. But it's not that big of a deal. I'm gonna show you today what I've been doing so far and what has worked so well. Now I'm well aware most of you out there either love romaine or iceberg. Not many people love both. I personally love both of them. I kind of probably tend to go more with the romaine than I do the iceberg, but it's not that big of a deal for me. But we grow both of these exceptionally well. In the past, I have always done wonderful with romaine. Romaine is easy to grow because it has a growth habit that doesn't shade out there at the bottom. One of the problems we have with some of these loose leaf and these iceberg lettuces is they get full and they crowd out down at the bottom there, and we get rhizoctonia or crown rot. The great thing about the romaine is you don't get that because it has that upright growth habit right here. Now this is a flat of romaine I've got growing here, Coastal Star romaine. And this is a flat of iceberg I've got growing here. Now, if you'd told me a few years ago, Greg, you can grow iceberg in South Georgia, I said, yeah, I don't think so. It's all grown in California. Things have changed. Well, I've learned something anyway. There are varieties that's being grown now in North Florida. We were able to get a hold of a variety called Pint size. It is a great lettuce. We've done a lot of trialing with it in the last couple of months here. It makes a small iceberg type lettuce here, which is ideal for consumption when you got it readily on hand. See there, that's not a huge head here, but that's all we need. We can take this right here and get 2, maybe 4 salads out of this one head here, and we keep it fresh. So if you buy one of those big, heavy iceberg heads out of the grocery store, a lot of times some of it go bad before you use it all. I love this variety right here. It seems to do really well in the South. We hadn't had any trouble growing with it, but I just love the size of it. Well, you may see this right here. I'm gonna talk about this a minute too. I'm also growing bok choy just like I do lettuce here. I'm not gonna talk a lot about that today. A lot of people don't like it. I like it, we stir fry it, but it is bok choy. It has done extremely well. And all of this I'm telling you about today, I grow in my greenhouse and inside in the light kit. And I do it mainly in my greenhouse because we use soil for this right here. And I can get kind of messy sometimes, so I don't like doing it inside. Now, after you plant this, you can move it inside and you can use that light kit, the hanging light kit, any grow light system that you grow your seeds for your vegetable gardens. You can use it to grow these lettuces, these bok choys, or any of this out in the off season where you're not using it for seed starting for your garden. Now I'm gonna recap on these varieties right here. Coastal Star romaine, which is our most popular romaine. I think it's a great one, it's pelleted. That's the one I would go with. This right here, pint-sized lettuce. This is that new variety of iceberg I was telling you about. Wonderful variety right here. And of course this right here, it's just because if you might be interested, is that bok choy right here. We call it Chinese cabbage. I don't know if we got it named correctly, but it is I call it a bok choy. This variety right here is called Joi Choi right here. So there you have it. Now, let's go over the process I use to growing this lettuce like this. Now you can direct seed any of these lettuces into your final growing tray. There's these trays right here, that works fine. But what I've been doing is I've been using our little 162, or it's our cut down, smaller little tray here, seed starting tray here. And we got a new product here I've been testing out for a month now, and I really love this. I'm gonna let you take a good look at that right there. That is called Growyourownfood. It's a revolutionary product out of Denmark there. It is a 3D weave material that is biodegradable, that is a sleeve for these seed starting trays. And the reason for this is they pull so much easier. You know, our plants such as our lettuces and our watermelons that are real tender and hard to pull, This is the answer. Could be the answer for about everything. No longer do you have to push something underneath here to pull that plant out. If you use this sleeve in here, it pulls right out. Now this is woven, so the roots grow right through it and it biodegrades after you plant it. Holds that root system together. You can actually pull the plant earlier. Works wonderful for lettuces. So I've been using this to put down in the tray there, and you just kind of stick it in there. And the good thing about it is it goes a little bit below the rim there, so when you put your soil in there, it doesn't get in your way. Now this will be a product that we will be adding for 2026, the grow coons there. I don't know exactly what kind of package, how many we're gonna sell in different increments, but we'll figure that out. But we have them produced for us over in Denmark, and they'll send it to us. We've done extensive trialing with them. Works great. Well, what I use is just any good seed starting mix. It doesn't take a lot of soil, so any good seed starting mix works good for me. Just fill it up like right there. And you can see those grow coons don't get in your way. Just fill them up like that, wipe off the excess. I like to water it in just a little bit, try to wet that potting soil. So the one I'm gonna plant today is Coastal Star. Now, like I said, you can direct seed them in here. It works wonderful. I like to do it in this because I can plant more than what I need to fill up one of these right here. I can maybe give some away, but I can manage my different plants different because I only want to plant one per cell. Of course, I'll make a little indentation in each little cell there. Now these seeds here are pelleted and they're coated with a clay, and that's wonderful because raw lettuce seeds is aggravating to plant by hand. But when they pellet them just with this organic inert clay here, it makes those seeds bigger and so much nicer to plant. So you can just walk through there and put you one per cell. Every now and then I get two in there, no big deal. I can come back and thin those out later. But germination is normally really good on these lettuce seeds. I think the home gardener should only be using pelleted lettuce seed because it makes the job so much easier, cleaner, and faster. Now we could cover this with perlite like what I use most of the time, but today I'm just gonna finish filling it up with this same medium right here. Works pretty doggone good. And you know what, sometimes you just got to use what you got handy. Today I've got this handy, this is what I'm gonna use. I think perlite works a little bit better, but on these lettuce seeds, they germinate real well anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Water it back in and keep it wet. Now I normally wet these things 2 or 3 times a day. I want to keep them good and wet. However, as you see underneath here, these things do drain good, which is good because we like that water to run through there. We don't like it to sit. So if you're using it inside where you can't let it drain naturally like I have on this wire right here, just put it in a solid tray there that catches that excess moisture there, and you can just keep that drained out. Now, believe it or not, in about 15 days, this is going to be ready to transplant out. These things grow really quick. And in the fall of the year, like this weather we're having right now, where it's in the low 80s and around 70 at night, it's ideal temperature for growing lettuces outside. However, we keep our room temperature inside our grow room in there around 70 degrees, and that's an ideal temperature too. So it grows just as well outside as it does inside, as long as you got adequate light. Now, when these things grow up and I'm ready to transplant them, I just simply pull them out, and I will use these trays right here. The trays I use, this one actually comes in one of our light kits. It's got holes in it right there. That's the key. You got to have a tray that's got holes in there. This is about 2.5 inches deep, which I like. I think it's perfect. These are smaller ones right here. These are ideal for one plant. You can see I cut that romaine last night. I had it right there. I saved that to show you guys. This is the exact same tray. This is perfect for one plant there. And look at those massive root systems there. Grew this in no time. So if you want to grow one plant, that's perfect size right there. And sometimes I do that. Or I'll do these bigger trays. The microgreen deep cell trays is about 2 3/8 deep. These work wonderful too because they have good drainage holes. Folks, that's going to be one of the keys there is good drainage holes. Then we have the same tray that does not have the holes that we can use as a catch tray or a bottom tray. There again, before I plant anything, I like to moisten that peat moss. What happens is When you wet that peat moss, it actually expands. And it doesn't take quite as much because it expands and it fills up the pot better. Another thing too, it has more air in there once you wet that, so the root system, I think, actually grows in there better. But it's just easier to work. It's easier to punch the holes in the plant when that peat soil medium is nice and moist. All right, so this is the same exact tray that I've got this Coastal Star Romaine growing in. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 10 plants planted in here. 5 on each side. Folks, that is a lot of lettuce here. So on the iceberg, I didn't plant quite as much. 1, 2, 3, 4. I put 4 on each side of it because it takes a little more room. Even though it is a smaller iceberg, pint size, it takes a little more room and you can't crowd it in quite as much as you can this romaine here. Now I'm going to tell you 4 reasons that I have really enjoyed growing my own salad is. Number 1, it's easily accessible. I came up here the last 2 nights, cut me off some, well, I'll show you right here. I cut me off some romaine there at the base there, went to the house. In just a few minutes, I had salad cut up, washed. I washed it in the sink, dried it on a towel, and I had enough salad for a couple nights here. Easy accessible. We don't go to the grocery store a lot around here. So being able to come up here and get lettuce right when I need it is just a game changer for me. Another thing is none of this has been sprayed with any pesticides. I have found when you grow lettuces in a controlled environment, such as a greenhouse or inside a room with a grow light, you don't have any insect problems. If there are any aphids gets on there, and I hadn't had any problems, you can simply wash them off before you eat them. So no pesticides whatsoever. Number 3 is nitrates, and this may not be something you know, but there is no regulations in the United States on nitrogen application to any kind of lettuces. So theoretically, a commercial grower can go out there and add nitrates, fertilizer, to his lettuce crop there. An hour later, get an order, and he could go out there and cut that lettuce and sell it to you, and it's completely legal, non-regulated. In the European Union over there, the EU, they do regulate nitrate applications on greens, but not here in the United States. A lot of times people have trouble digesting lettuces, and I think a lot of it is from nitrite poisoning. So I am able to regulate my nitrogen in there, and I don't fertilize within 3 or 4 days when I'm going to eat to make sure all those nitrates are out there, so I've got good, clean eating. Number 4 is it doesn't have to travel far. It's fresh. Can't get no fresher compared to cutting it and going back and eating it. So that's some of the reasons I think I really enjoy growing my own lettuce. And the reality is 12 months out of the year, I can grow my own lettuce. Very inexpensive. You take a pack of that coastal romaine seed, there's 250 seeds in here. That's 250 heads of lettuce I can grow with this one seed pack here. So we can save money. Yeah, there's a little work involved, but man, do I enjoy growing lettuce. It grows off quick. It's fun to grow. And the good thing about it is you don't need much to do it, just a little time here. Some good pot and medium right there. On these containers, we sell these containers. But you know what? Use what you got. I've got some old 1-gallon pots here that my wife bought some plants in. And I planted some of those in there, some of the pint size there. So use what you got. You normally need at least 2 1/4 or 3 inches as far as depth wise to do it well, because those root system will grow pretty dense in a hurry. So you need to give them a little room. That's probably a little overkill there, but I'll compost what I don't use in here as far as the potting soil in there. Use what you got. These trays here work extremely well for putting underneath the grow lights because they fit perfectly underneath there. So there you have it, folks. I'm going to come up with a schedule. I'm going to start growing my lettuce. We have fresh lettuce 365 days a year. I'm going to get me a schedule down. I'm going to do some experiments with different fertilizers and different type of soil amendments to see if I can't perfect this exactly like I want it. But this is easy to do. It's fun to do. It's healthy. Saves you money. It's just a godsend.